Hi, this is Andrew Lightheart from Cobalt Communication, and we are going to analyse today Tom Chatfield's TED Talk on how games reinforce learning and engagement, and some lessons that he's learnt from that field. I think this is a fantastic presentation. There are people who keep referring me to it going, oh, will you do the games one? And I think particularly if you're having to go in to talk to a group of people, get them up to speed very fast. Maybe there's a new project and you're going in to brief people on the new project, or you're at the beginning of a meeting and you're introducing a new type of technology to people, especially talking to a group of mixed specialists and non-specialists, or to a group of non-specialists, that I think looking at the structure of Tom's session, you can lift enormous parts of it and use it for yourself. So we're actually going to look in quite a lot of detail at the structure of his session. His style's very nice, but the thing that really stands out for me is the structure. He starts by giving a very strong personal statement about how he is in awe of games. So he starts with his personal entry into the field that he's discussing. Then straight away he looks to the industry. He looks to the phenomenon in the world and gives some surprising statistics about how this fits into the world. And notice also that he puts those statistics in context. So he says, just to show you, I always like the phrase, is that really a big number? He's saying, this is how much is predicted is going to happen. This is how much is predicted is going to happen in the audio market, and it's 3 times as much. So you immediately go, okay, it makes you sit up. And then he goes, but that's not the most surprising statistic. And then there's that little bit of curiosity where you go, I wonder what the really surprising statistic is. And it's about how much people are spending to buy virtual items. And he talks about, yes, there could be worries about this as a phenomenon, but let's look at the lessons that we can learn. And then bang, 3 minutes in he goes, my topic is rewards. I noticed this pattern quite a lot in experienced speakers, is they start off personal entry, making things link to a broader field, or whatever. Sometimes people deal with the internal circus that's going on in people's minds. Sometimes people set up a lot of curiosity, but by about 3 minutes there's a line where they go, this is my topic. Very rarely do people launch straight into their topic. That bit of preamble helps to get people on board. Then he makes a very simple explanation of the topic of reward. He defines it in terms of engagement, wanting and liking. Engagement is a word that is a buzzword that's being used quite a lot, and so having that also wakes people up. And then he says, but that's not the most interesting thing. So he uses that pattern again to go, the most interesting thing is the data points, is the amount of analysis that we can do. So he's building up the credibility of what he's about to tell you by saying this is from analysis across 1 billion data points a day, across hundreds of millions of players. And so you begin to go, well, okay, some of the lessons are probably going to be useful. Then because he's talking to a group of people who've played a bit of a game, played no game, played some, are enthusiasts, are fanatics, he has to think about how does he include all of that mixed audience. So he takes the topic of reward, but then goes, let's make it really simple. This is like opening boxes. And straight away there's an equivalency where we go, well, I understand that. And then begins to apply to go, it's 25% success rate and between 5 and 20 before you get the big reward. Then he's beginning to apply things, but we can create pictures of it. And if you're a game player, you immediately relate that to game playing. And if not, then you can understand the real world metaphor. and then he gives us a broader reason why this is important, evolution. Then he goes through his 7 points. So he's drawing out the 7 important lessons that have been learned. And I really want you to notice something. This is quite important, is that he's demonstrating what he's saying as he's saying it. So he's saying, okay, here's 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4 are useful but reasonably obvious. And we're beginning to just slightly go, and what are the other 3 going to be? Then he goes, number 5, this is the gold mine. Suddenly we wake up. Then number 6 is slightly less emphasised. Then number 7, he says, this is the real one. So he's taking our interest to go, open a box, open a box, open a box, open a box. Oh, here's a good reward, open a box, here's a great reward. So he's using that to keep our interest as we go through. Then he goes to some applications, and then he ends with a very strong message. So what you can do is think about a situation where you're going in and you're having to introduce something, bring people up to speed really fast, and see if you can take some lessons from that. You could, if you were going to do exactly the same presentation but with different content, you'd go, here's my personal entry into the field. Here is how this field links with the industry, the company, the world. Here's my main topic. Let me explain that a little bit, give a simple metaphor, a simple equivalency, so that people can understand and begin to apply the principles. Get it? Okay. Here are the 3, 5, 7 points that are really important. 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of interesting but a little bit pedestrian, a little bit ordinary. Number 5, number 6, number 7, and save your climax for the end. Draw out again the implications from those lessons, end with a strong message, start the discussion. So that way that you can actually begin to really bring people so that they're into the field in a very fast way. So go and watch Tom's presentation, and as you're watching, notice how he keeps your interest. What is he doing that's always making it so that you're curious about the next step and interested in the thing that he's talking about, and think about how you can apply those lessons to a presentation that you're going to give.